I would like to invite Mr. Alan Gutterman. Alan Gutterman from the National Horse Racing Advisory Council. Alan's storied past, and I do invite you to read his bio in your folders, included cab driving in New York City and skate sharpening in Central Park, but it eventually led him to several raceways and onto the Meadowlands in New Jersey. In 1991, he became Senior Vice President of Marketing at the New York Racing Association, where he's responsible for marketing signature race days, such as Belmont Stakes, Travers, and a slew of others. Alan serves on the Advisory Board and Communications Committee for the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance and is a member of the Humane Society of the United States Thoroughbred Advisory Board.
I have allergies. I'm allergic to all cats, certain dogs, and unfortunately, horses make me sneeze. It's gotten better as I've gotten older, but still I can't spend a whole lot of time on the backstretch before I'm sneezing and my eyes are red and itchy, even with antihistamines. It's been the bane of my entire professional life, more than 40 years of which have been spent working at racetracks, trying hard not to sneeze, but I wouldn't trade it for anything. I was born in Brooklyn, New York. The nearest horse was some 20 miles away at Aqueduct. I came to this glorious game as a horse player, as a fan, first at harness tracks, then the flats. I fell in love with handicapping and betting, and then probably fell in love with horses. And this is what separates us from other forms of gaming. As humans with good hearts, we get attached to living things. You can't fall in love with a scratch-off ticket or a series of 6 randomly generated numbered balls. You can't fall in love with a slot machine that devours nickels and quarters and dollars, a machine that, upon breaking down, is replaced with parts from another machine. Our fans bet on living things, gorgeous, majestic, living things. Horses are the stars in the show we produce, and fans are the audience, the final component of that show. We place a human on a horse's back, stick the horse inside a narrow, claustrophobic gate, ring a loud bell that scares the hell out of him when the gate opens, hit him with a whip, and ask him to run his heart out for us. Some try harder than others. Some attain great success. A handful become superstars, and most are just horses. Here's what I've concluded from a life in horse racing. Fans may curse jockeys, they may question the tactics chosen by trainers, but they love the horses they bet and willingly make excuses for why they didn't run better. If you were here earlier today, you watched a terrific presentation by Stacy Clark and Mandy Menger explaining the great work of the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance and the splendid institutions that they monitor and financially support. I'm honored to be on the advisory board. Approximately $8.3 million in grants have been awarded since the birth of Aftercare in 2012. 180 facilities representing 64 organizations from New York to California and Canada are accredited and monitored, and approximately 5,000 horses have received new homes or are being retrained since their racing career ended. This is a sport taking responsibility. 2 years ago in Lexington at a board of directors meeting, I made a suggestion that seemed logical, but might have been a year or two ahead of its time. It still might be. I wondered, how can we fulfill the goals and maintain the high standards of the Aftercare Alliance, hopefully in perpetuity? What component is missing? Mandatory contributions come from tracks, horsemen, horse owners, sales companies, breeders, vets, consigners, bloodstock agents, tote companies, social events, fundraisers, purses, of course, and overall industry generosity. The original mission was to collect a small percentage from every participating entity within the racing industry, and that's what's happened. It's a great achievement, a source of real pride, and a shining example of what sheer determination, outstanding management, leadership, hard work, and goodwill can do. But even with mandated funding, how can we keep contributions flowing at a sustainable level from year to year, season to season, particularly as demand grows and racing often struggles? I suggested then that the missing components and potentially the secret weapons of Thoroughbred Aftercare are racing's fans. Just ask them how they feel about Aftercare. They love their horses. So how do we do this? How do we give fans the opportunity to show their appreciation of the horses that run so hard for them? Well, I can tell you how not to do it, and I don't mean that these things shouldn't be done, but when I was responsible for marketing at Santa Anita, we would hold days in support of Karma, the pioneering California aftercare organization. We would set up tables near the entrances with lots of signage, make announcements, and invite fans and horse players to pet a retired horse, pick up some literature, and hopefully donate to a great cause. And we would raise maybe a couple of $100. This has been a basic fundraising tactic at most tracks, along with several other well-intended, well-meant promotions. They build awareness and introduce aftercare and great promotional tools, but they are not great fundraisers. What I'm proposing is different. Every track has its most special day, whether it's a Triple Crown race or the Breeders' Cup, the Pacific Classic, the Oak Lawn Derby, the Santa Anita Derby, the Louisiana Derby, the Tampa Bay Derby, the Florida Derby, the Bluegrass, the Arlington Million, the Haskell, the Lone Star Derby, and others as well. Some tracks are blessed with several special days, but for the purposes of this exercise, we're only talking about the best and the biggest single day at any one track. Each track would participate only one day a year, their most special day, the day that fans actually show up live at a racetrack. An example, America's top-tier events, say a Triple Crown event that can draw 100,000 or more. If a fan is willing to shell out, say, $2,500 for a prime seat on Millionaire's Row at beautiful Churchill Downs, would he object to spending an additional $5 for the same seat, knowing that the additional $5 is earmarked for aftercare? The ticket price when purchased would be $2,505. If a customer is planning to pay $720 each to enjoy Preakness Day in an infield tent, would he pay $725 for the same seat, $5 designated for aftercare? If a fan wants to buy a table of 4 at the Belmont Stakes at $495 each, would he object to paying $500 each, with $5 from each ticket, or $20 total from those 4 tickets designated for aftercare? Honestly, do you think that on these days fans would object, especially those paying with corporate credit cards? A $1,000 seat to the Breeders' Cup would cost an additional $5. A seat in the Million Room at Arlington Park on Million Day would rise from, say, $295 to $300. If a clubhouse admission ticket sells for $50, would anyone object if that ticket on that day carried a price of $51 or $52? Every sale, depending on the original price, could have $1 to $5 added to the cost of the ticket. These truly are the only days that this could work, because they piggyback onto the days when people actually visit a track to experience racing live. I wish that wasn't the case, but that's the way it is. I wish that, but our high-profile showcase days, the days when the world pays attention to horse racing and fans want to be at a racetrack, are days that can save our equine athletes. You can call it a fee, you can call it a donation. I'm talking about a fee that turns into a donation. Right on the ticket, it might read, a small portion of the ticket price will be donated to the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, an industry-originated program that helps find and maintain homes for retired racehorses. Thank you for helping our equine athletes. I realize this is complicated, and I have to admit that I don't know all the legalese of this, and there are extenuating circumstances. A lot of racetracks don't actually charge admission anymore, but on big days, they still have dining and box seat packages. Tickets to horse racing's biggest live attendance days have the potential to produce hundreds of thousands of dollars, perhaps $1 million or more, without any additional expense to the host tracks. I want to make something clear. I've been blessed to work at various times in my life at Churchill Downs for Magna and the Stronach Group, for the New York Racing Association twice, and with and for the Breeders' Cup. No one needs to tell me how difficult the horse racing business is, or how much sweat and investment these companies already expend to perpetuate the game and produce a worthy show. In this proposal here, no racing association would be asked to spend a single penny or share in any ticketing revenue at all. The admission hospitality price is always determined by the track or the racing association. This would be a 1% or less add-on specifically designated as a major funding source for aftercare. It's a bookkeeping issue, unwieldy perhaps the first year, but evolving into an annuity for racehorses. Imagine an annuity for racehorses. Maybe Social Security for racehorses. A painless, steady stream of income from fans who are retired athletes, from fans who are of our retired athletes, emanating from our most popular events without touching revenue from admission or handle. I believe that NBC, which has always been supportive, would go further in helping promote this, encouraging racing fans at home to contribute as well. So to get back to the fan, to the horse player, to our customer, all that is how I got started. When it comes down to this, that horse ran his heart out for you. That horse was the key, the single in your $50,000 pick six score, or the wheel in your $10,000 superfecta, or just a horse you fell in love with. That horse has entertained you, but he can't do anything to help himself. He's at our mercy. Aftercare days allow the fan, our customers, who is, after all, the ultimate player in the game, the chance to help. Since this is an international conference, I would suggest that this program has the potential to work anywhere in the world, because this is about your best days too. These are the days when horse racing shines worldwide. I'm not calling anyone or any one track out. I don't mean to be presumptuous in referencing these great events. I'm just throwing some pasta against the wall to see what might stick, because we owe this to our horses and our fans. These aftercare days would extend the lives of racehorses, and if it wasn't for racehorses and fans, really, where would any of us be? Thank you very much.